Why does Dutch kickboxing dominate? The history of Dutch kickboxing is as legendary as it comes. If you want to captivate an audience, simply show them a legendary Dutch kickboxer. These fighters represent the most exciting and aggressive fighting style in the world. Simply watch them in action to witness what having heart means. With a heavy emphasis on boxing with low kicks, the style requires extreme athleticism and heart. Those who could tolerate hard training rose to the top and absolutely dominated. Between 1993 and 2013, Dutch kickboxers won 15 out of 19 K1 World Grand Prix Championships, the highest honour in kickboxing. This is a legendary testament to the success of the Dutch, a country of only 17 million people. Now, how did this legendary style come to be so dominant? Is it the crazy hard training and sparring that they do? Fight fans, welcome back to another episode of Lawrence Kinchin Striking Breakdowns. In this episode, we explore the legendary Dutch kickboxing style and why it still dominates today. To understand why Dutch kickboxing is so effective, we must go back in history to examine the origin. As expected, the origin is legendary. John Cornelius Blooming was an avid martial artist who trained every available martial art. During his stay in Japan, he discovered Shotogun karate. But Blooming would soon switch to Kyokushin and become one of Mas Oyama's top students. With Oyama being the founder of Kyokushin karate and wanting to globalize the art, he asked Blooming to open the first Kyokushin school in Europe. Within 6 years, Blooming was awarded a black belt 6th dan, being the first non-Japanese to receive it in karate. This decision was extremely controversial amongst karatekas, and so Oyama challenged the naysayers to fight against Blooming, with the loser being stripped of black belt. A Korean champion named Kwan Mo-gun accepted the challenge and was quickly knocked out via a karate chop. Over time though, Blooming and Oyama fell apart due to disagreements, and instead he became close with Kenji Kurosaki, one of Oyama's best students who added Muay Thai and boxing into Kyokushin. In the Netherlands, he would teach many legends such as Semi Schil, Gilbert Eivel, Tom Harnik, Jan Plass, Johan Vos, and Lucien Carbin. These legendary coaches and fighters would forever shape combat sports across the Netherlands and the world for decades. After learning from Blooming and earning a black belt, a man named Jan Plass went to Japan to learn more martial arts. They would be kicked out of multiple gyms, including Oyama's dojo, for stopping a hazing attempt. Then one day, while strolling through Tokyo with his friends, they were approached by Toshio Fujiwara, the greatest Japanese fighter of all time and the first non-Thai to win a Muay Thai stadium title. Fujiwara invited them to watch a kickboxing event and then to train at their gym with his legendary coach Kenji Kurosaki at the Meijiro gym in Japan. When Jan Plass went back to the Netherlands, he started to teach the kickboxing that he learned in Japan, eventually building the now world famous Meijiro gym in Amsterdam. At around the same time, Tom Harnik founded the Chakuriki gym, combining boxing with Savate and Muay Thai. With these two gyms producing great fighters and competing against each other, it took the sport to the greatest heights in the Netherlands. In 1978, the Chakuriki gym travelled to Thailand and challenged Muay Thai fighters at the Lumpini Stadium. In 1982, the Meijiro Amsterdam gym attempted the same. However, the results were all the same. All of them lost. And they were humbled by the experience and acknowledged that they need to learn how to elbow and how to clinch. With constant improvement and never fearing a challenge, by the 1990s, the Dutch started to defeat Thais in their own country. On February 18, 1990, a 21-year-old named Ramon Dekkers defeated the reigning Lumpini Stadium champion Nampon in Amsterdam. With his aggressive and exciting never back down style, he became the greatest ambassador for Dutch kickboxing. Ramon went to Thailand and was able to beat some of the best Thai champions. Everyone who watched him fight was in instant awe, and his legendary fights ushered a new wave of fighters across the world. This lineage transcended martial arts, and from the 1990s and beyond, the Dutch became a dominant force in all full contact combat sports, from Muay Thai to kickboxing and MMA. Now, why exactly is Dutch kickboxing so dominant? After all, most Dutch kickboxers don't have the luxury of training and fighting since 5 years old like their Thai counterparts, and yet the Dutch can actively compete with them and do well. The secret is obviously in their training and philosophy. Like Kyokushin fighters, they train hard, really hard. The Dutch are notorious for their brutally hard sparring. The reason they spar hard so often is to compensate for the inability to fight on a weekly basis like the Thais. That means they get their fight experience in the gym. In the gym, the sparring is equivalent to a fight. So in a sense, the Dutch have hundreds of fights in the gym. Their training is so hard that even knockdowns and knockouts are tolerated. Like Kyokushin athletes, the Dutch stand and bang in front of each other. This hardens the body and the mind for those who can handle the brutal training. Unlike the Thais who have dedicated pad holders, most Dutch fighters drill with each other. This allows them to train realistic combinations with each other until it becomes second nature. It also allows the partner to get used to receiving strikes, so that both partners can practice offense and defense at the same time. Combined with great technical knowledge, this simple philosophy of hard sparring and partner drilling allowed them to excel on the world stage. Of course, combining Kyokushin, Muay Thai and boxing was a big part of it too. For the most part, Dutch fighters hyper-focus on combination punching with low kicks. This typically allows them to out-punch and out-low kick other styles. And due to the low base and centre of gravity required to combination punch and low kick well, the Dutch style is the preferred style for MMA fighters. This is especially the case for the boxer-wrestler archetype, who rely on a low centre of gravity for their chosen techniques. What do you think of the Dutch style and how hard they spar? Let us know in the comment section. If you enjoyed this episode, please support us by watching another one. I'm Lawrence Kenshin and thank you for keeping our channel alive.